Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to what's going to be a quick review of the Kat Von D Lock-It Brightening Powder. This is in the shade Petal. It's supposed to illuminate light skin tones. There is a middle shade called Peach that's for medium skin tones, and then Golden that is more of a banana-esque. That's how they describe it online, is a banana powder for deep skin tones. It retails for $25 for 0.29 ounces, and you can see in here, I mean, kind of like the name suggests, there's so much product above the sifter. It has a slightly pink undertone, unlike, and this is something I'm going to talk about later in the video, the translucent setting powder. This definitely has a distinct pink hue, and it's considerably smaller because it's just to brighten any discoloration you have in your under eye area. So I absolutely love the larger translucent setting powder meant for your under eyes as well as all over your face. So I really wanted to give this a go because like on my tiredest days, on days when I notice I have more blues and purples kind of showing through my under eye area, I do find that the translucent setting powder doesn't quite cut it all ways. So I thought this might be the natural solution to that on days when I know I'm gonna need to put in a little bit of extra effort into making sure my eyes don't look tired at like noon. This would be a good go-to product, so I wanted to give it a try. First off, because it is in the name, I feel like I have to address the whole brightening claim. For me, it didn't. The pink, it's so subtly tinted pink that I just did not notice it brightening up my under eye area in the least. I still had the same amount of under eye discoloration showing through after versus before I applied it. There are some positive attributes to this product that I'll talk about later on, but unfortunately the brightening aspect just did not work for me, and I almost found that it got worse throughout the day. Like on days that I knew I was going to be tired, so I applied this as opposed to the setting powder right off the bat. Kind of, around 2 to 3 p.m. I looked in the mirror and I felt like my under eyes looked even more sallow than if I had applied a pressed setting powder or the Kat Von D loose translucent setting powder. It almost made it worse, and it happened on more than one occasion, which is what's making me think it wasn't some sort of weird fluke, like I was wearing a different concealer or base or something like that. Like, it just was pretty consistent. So as far as brightening claims go, it's a no for me. However, something I did notice was that this seems to be more finely milled than the regular translucent setting powder, and what that means meant for my under eye area is that it did a way better job at kind of smoothing over fine lines, which, I mean, it might not, I'm 27, so I don't have like an abundance of them, but everyone gets fine, like microfine lines when they're tired, when it's dry out. Your skin, when it's dehydrated, just naturally develops fine lines. And so on those days, because allergy weather here has been, like the normal weather, chaotic, and so some days I would have just those, smaller lines here on the under eye area, and sometimes with concealer it can accentuate those, but when I went over top with the color or the brightening powder from Kat Von D, I noticed that it just smoothed those fine lines over, and then as I brought it down kind of into that brightening triangle area, it did beautiful things to my pores as well. So I do think that for how finely this powder is milled compared to the translucent setting powder, it is more flattering in that way to the under eye area, but I just didn't notice the brightening aspect. The other thing I do want to note, because it's kind of hard to miss, is the size comparison here. The normal all over setting powder, translucent from Kat Von D, is over 2 times bigger than the brightening powder, but it's $5 more. So there's a huge price discrepancy here, and so I'm not sure if it's because the brightening powder is more finely milled, if there's some crazy expensive tint that goes in here to make it pink colored, but there's a pretty noticeable price gap between the two of these, and given how much I love how the translucent setting powder works, not only in my under eye area but all over the rest of my face, I would recommend going with that unless you specifically want to make sure that you are blurring any of that fine line and pore action in your under eye area. But like I said, as far as brightening, it just did not work like that for me. So something to keep in mind with all of these products, it just comes down to how you prefer to use them, what you want to use them for. I wouldn't say it's worth it for me because I find the translucent setting powder does the job all over my face, including my under eye area, but I could see where, because of the texture of the brightening powder, some would prefer it over the regular translucent setting powder. So those are my 2 cents. I really hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys!